Welcome everybody to round 1 of Tier 1 Championship in Apex Racing. We are racing at Austria and we're just waiting for the lobby to start. And off we go. Who is going to be taking pole in round 1? Well, one thing is for certain, ref is gay, as he just put into the chat. And we have begun. Wait for the first driver to come out. We've got 13 drivers. As of now, currently in the session, we will be the first to come out. Obviously favouring, but not dominating the end of our season. It will be interesting to see who is going to be coming out on top. Turn down game volume. I'll turn down the master volume. That's better. Can you hear me now? Bruh. So you couldn't hear me, but you still replied to my question. Come on, man. Well, anyways, let's go on board with Esco Kalevi. He's going to start his first flying lap of the season. Fast into turn 1, you want to go into the 4th gear, and now this is the long straight into turn 2. You can barely hear me. I'll try to sort that out after this. Late braking into turn 2. It's important to get a good exit off the exit. He gets a little snap of the rear, but he still manages to recover it nicely. His teammate is coming next, and he gets out the way for him. Let's go play. The first sector went very nicely, and now going into this twisty, turny part of the track. The shortest race on the calendar. This is Austria. Well, let's see if he's going to be able to make the fastest time at the shortest track. Into this final couple of corners. Make sure not to invalidate the car coming out the exit of the final corner. Now it's just power up to the line. It's a 103.0. Melvin. Oh, it's not Melvin. It's Wards. Well, Melvin is coming up next, however. Is he going to be able to beat his teammate across the line? He does. He sets provisional pole. It's 102.9. We have the Ferrari of Mark Daniel, who invalidated his lap. Steven Vasso invalidated his. A lot of people invalidating their laps early on. Max also which no one wanted to invalidate. Who got tier 2 pole? I don't think that exists. I don't think tier 2 pole exists. Is anyone else going to be coming across the line soon? I think Snoo is. And he comes around the final couple of corners. Just about keeps it in the lines. Up to the line, he powers it down, and that's a 103.4. It's ahead of you, Funnybot, but it's still behind the top 3 drivers. We're now going to look at the V-Carb. They're coming into the pits. VNT Leon invalidated. This is going to be a real trouble for Steven Vasso. He's had Leon in his way. It's only a 107.3. You know, the Alpine of Max, who comes into the pits. So early on, people invalidating lap times, not able to set a competitive lap. Let's watch Fight Me Now Bot and see if he can get his lap in. My Arab or someone, I'm actually neither. Coming across here, he's got a good amount of battery. He set a fastest sector 2. Is he able to displace Melvin at the top? Or is it going to be Melvin staying on provisional pole? Around the final couple of corners. Up to the line. It's a 103.1. He splits Esko Kilevi and TF 10 Wards. Leon invalidates again. He does not like racing. Why are these guys just in the way of each other? I'm very confused. Do these guys just not like setting qualifying laps? I mean, lads, it's not the race yet. I mean, it's brilliant racing, I have to say. But it is not the race. So why are we doing this now? Oh goodness me, this is just very, very interesting. I mean, this is the kind of start you see, however. Let's watch AMS Knight, who's actually setting a lap. And he invalidates it. Like, everyone's just invalidating their lap now. No one wants to set a competitive lap time. It's a bit like... Are they going for round... What is it... Okay. Is this... I don't really know what's going on here. They're just fighting. He's invalidated. They're just fighting each other. I don't know how they have enough fuel for this. Oh, he goes down the inside. I'll tell you what, man. We might as well just watch the rest of this. This is close enough to the race. Is he gonna make a move? Oh, he's actually turned off DRS just to fight. Oh, on the outside. Oh. One of them's gonna get a penalty, and then they're gonna report each other. Oh, did he spin? Oh, he's gone on to the ground. He's gone on to the ground. You're not allowed to go there. You're not allowed to go there. Is anyone actually setting a lap? Are they going for another? Ow. How many times are they going to do? They've been at it for 5 laps. Oh, is it it? Do you reckon it's the AIs? And Oliver not goes on to provisional pole. We didn't see that. Oliver not on provisional pole. You funny bot. Improves to 3:03.5. Mark Daniel sets a 3.2. He goes 5th fastest. Anyone else setting any competitive lap time? Max gets the fastest middle sector. Is he about to displace his teammate, the number 69? You know why he chose that. He goes around the final couple of corners. Is he able to beat his teammate? Up to the line. And it's only P4. He's about 3 tenths back from his teammate. And they're going for another round. Well, we might as well watch Adams. He's invalidated. Okay, McLaren B car. What's going on? Because this is not impressive. I just want to watch them times, to be honest. Anyone else? Yeah, we'll watch AMS Night. Why not? Oh, okay. He has that was Melvin, I think, on his lap. Oh, to be fair, he might get reported for that. And here comes AMS Night. So let's ride on board with the Polishman and see what he can do. And a little bit scruffy coming out of turn 1. Now down this main DRS straight. Can he get a decent run in? It's a late braking move. And now he gets a good exit out of turn 1. Out of turn 2, sorry. Now in the final DRS straight that he's going to have, needs a good braking zone. Braking at the 50 braking meter marker. He gets a good exit as well. Now into this very tricky part of the track. It's high speed but mixed with low speed. Nice and simple, and he sets the fastest middle sector now. So lots of people trading fastest middle sectors. It goes into these final. I mean, it's not an invalidation. Oh, now it's an invalidation. That time, well, it would have only put him around P8. Wouldn't have really helped him. Is anyone else on laps that we can watch? I think awards is. He's coming around the final couple of corners. He invalidated. Okay, everyone's just invalidating. Don't tell me they're going for another. What are they doing? They are quite literally racing. Esko Kalevi invalidates his lap time. Oliver Knott is on the lap now. Fight me now, what? Yes, he is on the lap. What can he do? Can he get himself anywhere higher up the grid? He can, up to P4, a mere 6,000 hundredth of a second. Or a 10th faster than Max. Are they actually still going for another? Oh my god, they really are battling. Is this their race practice? They're still going. Have some decency, man. Daniels. Oh, for God's sake, what's going on? This is just not even funny anymore. There no one setting lap times. Let's watch. Let's go this Esko on a lap. No, he is not. apparently now, but it's also not. So we're gonna watch you funny bolt. The Racing Bulls team principal drove in Tier 2 earlier and looked competitive, with many possibly saying he could be moved to Tier 1. This is a real good chance for him to test his abilities in the highest tier of Apex. Now coming into turn 3, nice and tidy. Get the car settled, get it over the bumps. And now flick the steering wheel into these corners. Get it nice and lined up for this next corner. Turn 4 sets up turn 5, and turn 5 sets up turn 6. Now coming in to this tight, quick section. Is he going to invalidate? He won't. He keeps it on track. And now up to the line. He displays his snoo. It's up to P8 for him now. And they are still going. I have to say, this is... Oh god, it's me, the voice crack. This has been very good racing. However, we don't really need it right now. I mean, I'd love to know what exactly is going on. I mean, this is just fantastic to watch. Oh, they actually hit each other. They might get a penalty for that, actually. They could very well get a penalty for that. I mean, while all that's happening, they're still going for another lap, by the way. I don't know how they planned. It's like they planned to go this much. Jahan is comps. Yes, I am comps. Oh, fuck you. Damn. That's the other Napoli guy. Napoli gay. Right, so while the other McLaren is twatting about with Stephen, let's watch Adam and see if he can do a little bit better than his teammate, because his teammate's just chilling. Into turn 2, brake at the 50-meter marker, get it nice and lined up. Looks clean, little bit unsettled at the rear, but it's okay, he doesn't lose too much time. I hate my game being so quiet, I might have to turn it up for this. Now, here he comes. Adam, he hasn't set a lap as of now. Vasso's doing last to first, by the way. Ref is a gay. Ref, you shouldn't say that about yourself, man. You really shouldn't say that about yourself. As Adam is going to come across the line, he's going to finally set a lap time. It's only good enough for P10 and only ahead of his scrapping teammate. Anyone else going to be on a lap that we can actually watch, and that doesn't get invalidated? That matters. Anyone on a lap? Anyone on a lap? Let's go with it on the lap. Is that Knight on a lap? That is Knight on a lap. Is he going to be able to do a lap now? He comes across the line. It's P4 ahead of his teammate. It's a 103.0, and he stopped on track as he got. Is he okay? Is he trying to give a tow, possibly, to Melvin? Is he giving a tow? And Oliver Knott has retired from the session. The man who was heavily favoured before the start of the season has crashed out, and not in the emotional kind of way. Oliver Knott is out of this session. What can Melvin do about it? He's currently up on his personal best What is he going to be able to do in the middle sector? Around a tenth and a half separates the two at the top of the field. Both in VNT, both are going to be looking to start the season out in style, as Max is also out. He retires on track, and Fight Me Bot now retires. And oh, that's not going to go down well. That's really not going to go down well. I have a feeling that the V-Cup's going to get a significant penalty for that. Nonetheless, it's Oliver Knott on pole for the first race of the season, for the season opener. Regardless of whatever Melvin could have done, it doesn't matter now, because Oliver Knott starts P1 at the top of the grid. Melvin alongside him on the front row. Fight Me Now Bot alongside Max on the second row. Esco Calavi and Wards on the third row. AMS Knight and Mark Daniel 7th and 8th. You Funny Bot, a good showing for him for the tier 2 driver. 9th, ahead of Snoo, who starts 10th. Adam only managed to get P11, and the two fighters, P12 and P13, they occupy the final row of the grid. There's going to be a variety of strategies on show today, I assume. It is a 2-stop, but tier 1 being the pinnacle of Apex, being the highest caliber of drivers you can get, well, apart from AMS Knight, of course, being the highest caliber of drivers you can get, you're going to expect maybe some better tyre wear. You're going to expect them to not push as much. You're going to expect them to be in a train, with them being quite even on pace. So it's going to be interesting to see how this race pans out here. With Oliver not starting at the front, with him crashing out in qualifying, is there a slight worry that he's going to struggle with that crash? Could it be a little worry that he might not be able to keep a consistent pace in the race? I mean, Melvin could have got pole, but the sister team, in fact, of Red Bull, the V-Cubs, well, he got in the way. Now, how that's going to go down with the Red Bull family is unknown. But what will be able to come of turn 1? You've got two very good drivers, both in the same team. That I assure you, they probably know each other very well. It's going to be an interesting race. And starting out in the season opener, you want people to be strong. You want to start a strong season. You want to start strongly, I should say. You want to lead this first opportunity to lead a Formula 1 World Championship. The first opportunity for the constructors teams, the 10 teams we have, which will soon be 11 next season, as we are going to the DLC, which is still unknown on when it's coming out yet, as it does look like it's going to be delayed, to be fair. But this is the final season of F1 25 we've got in Apex. So, will we... Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to win this championship. Obviously, there's a prize pool on offer. Lots of people are ready, and they want to win this race. They want to start out the season strongly. Oliver dominated since he joined. I believe since he joined, there was only one other winner, and I believe that was Max, if I'm not wrong. So his teammate was the only other winner. As we wait for the starting lights to begin, still awaiting to start as everyone's being very stingy. Let's have a look at the strategy, shall we? And it looks like everyone's on the medium tyre, except Fight Me Now Bot. He's starting on the harder compound of tyres. Maybe potentially trying a one-stop. However, for a one-stop, you're potentially looking at lap 25, lap 23. Yeah, lap 23 to lap 25 as your pit window. As we are ready to start the formation lap on the way to the starting grid. And so, a bit of a slow start for Oliver Knott, as Oh. Oh. Pretty sure we've got a restart. Yep, we have got a restart because someone probably read it up earlier. So this is going to be interesting. Now we've got a restart. I tell you what, this is. We had a restart earlier in tier 2. We had 2 restarts in fact. It was carnage. I mean, if it's not a restart, this is a very terrible race so far. I don't think Fight Me Now bot has got the memo. I don't think he has. I don't actually know what is right. It must be ready up early. Why are we all set for the grid? What's going on here? What's happening? Why are they all wait, hold on, what's going on here? Why are we what is it? I'm very confused here. Because oh. Are they just gonna crash into each other? They're not. Well, off we go. 5 lights and away we go with a very odd start in the opening round of the season. But Oliver Knott leads Melvin into turn 1. And Fight Me Now bot is going to try make a move here. Is he going to dive down the inside of Melvin? There's contact between the Red Bull and the Kick Sauber. And however, Fight Me Now bot does get up into P2 as Oliver Knott already disappears from the rest of the grid. He's going to be looking very strong in this race. As Esko Kalevi makes a move on Fight Me Now bot, maybe Fight Me Now bot is going to let him go just because of how maybe aggressive that move was. Oliver Knott already extending that advantage. He's already beaten the DRS though. And he sets a 108.1 as the first fastest lap. Anyone going in to make a move? No. So your order on lap 1 as it stands is Oliver Knott leading from Melvin, who leads from Max, Esso Kalavi in P4, Fight Me Now bot and AMS 92 Saubers in P5 and P6, Wards in P7. That is Snoo going for a move for P7. Someone went off in the background. That was Mark Daniel, who went off in the background. Ref, you can go suck yourself. And there's a double lockup. That is from VNT Leon, who's made a very good start, starting from last, and he's up to 7, I believe now already on lap 2 of this race. Oliver Knott is seriously extending that advantage. It was 1.2 at the start of lap 2. Well, it's now gone up to 1.5 and possibly even 1.6. Mark Daniel with a 3-second time penalty. No one else has pitted on the opening lap. However, Oliver Knott with another fastest lap. He is disappearing from this entire grid as it stands. His teammates making moves, and Snoo is out of the race. We have got a virtual safety car. Snoo is out of this race. Don't know what happened to him. However, it looks like that is the Williams' day over. And it's a tough day at the office. Snoo, he'll be very annoyed about that. So it's just one Williams remaining now in the session. That is Esko Kalevi, who makes his Apex Racing debut, I believe. So this gives a little bit of a calm, a little bit of rest to what was a hectic first couple laps. in which we saw Mark Daniel run off the track, and we saw Snoo, who has now retired. It's a VSC at the moment. If you're just joining us now, it's a VSC, and Oliver Knott leads his teammate Max Welgars by over 2.5 seconds, and almost up to 3 seconds. And whether Max is going to be able to hold out is the question. Why we don't actually know. Normally it's a lot better than this. However, we are back racing again, and that is a good restart for VNT Melvin. And is he going to be able to go down the inside? He is. Max, is he able to make a switch back here? He's unable to at the minute. However, coming back at it with DRS, is he going to be able to get around the outside? He does. It's Alpine 1 and 2 yet again. They've looked out the first two positions here. As AMS9 and Fight Me Now Bot fighting there side by side. Are they going to make contact? No. If so, they did make slight contact. However, that was a good fight between the two Salvers. Oliver Knott continues to take his lead higher up the grid. That might have been a warning right there for him. Keep you updated on the warnings and on the penalties. As we're just going to start to begin to get into a train of DRS. And this train goes from Max. VNT Leon has already made up another place. He's up to P6 now. He's got past TFS Wards. And that's AMS Knight going down the inside. That's a little bit naughty from the south. And that allows Stephen Vasso to get up into P7. As Melvin and Max fighting again. Is anyone looking for moves? Down the inside here, Adams lost that 1 second gap to the funny bot, who's in a relatively comfortable P10 right now, and a relatively respectable P10 as that is as well, being a tier 2 driver, and he's still in this train for P2 at the minute. So we come around to start another lap. Oliver Knott still leads from Max Welgars, his teammate. But what is Melvin able to do? That can be a warning as well. We're going to keep attention onto the warning situation for you guys. As here comes Melvin. He's going to try and make the move again. Is Max going to be able to come back at him though? Little shaky on the exit of the corner. Think Melvin might be safe or not. Max is chasing him, and he's not. So Melvin keeps P2, and he's able to withstand the pressure from the Alpine. He separates the Alpines now. And Melvin, a very respectable driver. He's in Pratics lobbies a lot as well. He is quite quick. He might not be faster than Oliver Knott. He's not that much slower than Oliver Knott. As continue in this train of cars. Oliver Knott continues to lead here at the Red Bull Ring. Well, the home heroes, I think that's AMS Knight, who's gone in for an early pit stop. Is he going to change his front wheel? Not. So it's a strategic pit stop from the Sauber driver, as we missed it, but yet again these two fighting, and Melvin's played that one very well. He's managed to keep that position again. I think he's starting to understand as Max is looking like he's struggling on his tyres, causing him to overcorrect the car, and this is becoming a very tense race at the minute. No one wants to give up position. Your funny bot has now lost DRS. That might put him under pressure from Mark Daniel, who has got that 3 second time penalty. As we're seeing more pit stops, your funny bot has got a 3 second penalty. Max pits. Stephen Vasso also pit. Oh no, so that's Esko Kalevi pits as well. So what could these two drivers pull out? A hard tyre for Max, and it's going to be a hard tyre for Esco Calavi as well. So both going for very early pit stops, just like AMS Knight did. And is AMS Knight going to come out ahead of the two early pit stoppers? He's not, but he's definitely closed that gap up. The undercut seems very powerful here. VNT Leon, it's going to be a double move from Vasso, and Leon spins out the move from Vasso. The two drivers who were battling each other in qualifying, well, they've just collided here, and it's another crash. Wards is hit by Vasso. Two drivers, they're going at it. Vasso collides with two drivers in a row in two successive corners. That might be looked at by the stewards later after this race, as Melvin, he pits now. Could he try and undercut against Oliver Knott? That is going to be the hope for some of these drivers here when they're looking to pit early. We're going to pay attention to Max as he went for the early pit stop. He pit one lap earlier than Melvin. Is that undercut going to work out for the Alpine driver? Yes, it is. In fact, it's going to really work out for the Alpine driver. Oh yeah, I am a steward too, aren't I? Keep forgetting that. However, Melvin comes out behind Max and 1.2 seconds behind Max, as AMS Knight going for a move down into turn 2. It's a clean move as well. He'll get DRS from Melvin, and he will most definitely take that. He gets ahead of Esco Calavi, the debutant, down to P12 now. However, he has made a stop, while the rest of the grid, everyone ahead of him hasn't. We're expecting Fight Me Now bot to be the front runner soon when Oliver Knott hits. He's going to be expected to go longer into this race, as VNT Leon gets a 3-second time penalty now, and he retires, and it's a safety car. So for those who pit early, it is awful luck. But for those who have yet to pit, and those such as Oliver Knott and Fight Me Now bot, well, they will count themselves lucky. VNT Leon is out of this Grand Prix after the fighting he had with Steven Vasso early in the race, early in qualifying, sorry I should say. Well, he's now left the session, retired. I believe he crashed in the pits. And after getting spun by Steven Vasso, that is his race over for the McLaren driver. Why is he retiring? I think he's crashed into the pits. However, this is going to bring a huge opportunity. Just before this happens, the Tonight Show with Mr. Storm premieres Friday, 10 to 11 PM GMT. That is from Mr. Storm himself. Just be in touch with Mr. Storm. He's ready on Friday, next Friday, which is the day of Australia Tier 5. As now you're going to start seeing a lot of pits. Everyone comes into the pits, including Fight Me Now bot, who's going to try and get ahead of him. Oh, sorry, no, he's just... And this is going to be heartbreaking for these early pitches. You're looking at Max especially. Well, Fight Me Now bot, he's come out on the mediums, fresh mediums. And he's going to come out ahead of that group. Steven Vasso comes out ahead. Mark Daniel, who went off earlier and has got a 3-second time penalty, well, he also gets ahead of the early pit stoppers. McLaren so out, yes, you could say that, because P11 and retiree, and that's caused a safety car. Well, that's going to make this race a lot more interesting. Now is where you're going to start seeing strategies, because Max, Melvin, AMS Knight and Esco Calavi, they all pit earlier than everyone else. Safety car in this lap, that's extremely early for a safety car. You'd expect it to go one more lap, but we restart on lap 12 here today at the Austrian Grand Prix. Is not Oliver not going to be able to handle the fresh tyres of Fight Me Now bot? The mediums they work good for a good couple laps. Their cut-off period is about lap 7, lap 8. Is Oliver not going to be able to hold on? Is he going to have to maybe sacrifice the lead of this race for a couple of laps until these tyres go away? But it is a good restart for Fight Me Now bot. As I think Oliver there's a lot of contact here at this race start. Mark Daniel leads this Grand Prix as Stephen Basso goes into P2. Oliver Knott has dropped down to P8. The leading man in this race, well, he's now dropped down to P9. There's a lot of people fighting. There's damage in the background. Is that to the Alpine of Oliver Knott, or he is falling behind? And we're going to have a look at his car now. He doesn't have damage. That is huge. But Mark Daniel leads this race sort of out of nowhere. I mean, he was last at the start of this race. At the start of lap 1, he now leads this Grand Prix for Ferrari, for the Scuderia, as they look to win their first race here in a long, long while. I mean, in real life, they haven't won it since 2022. See, is Mark Daniel about to stop a Red Bull family car in winning this race? However, it is still in Stephen Basso's hands. DRS enabled by the stewards. Are they going to be able to Fight Me Now bot gets a 3-second time penalty? Just bear in mind, these penalties could become very crucial at the start of this race. Oliver Knott has seriously dropped down at the back of this queue here, and that is not good for Alpine and the Alpine fans, in fact, as Mark Daniel is going to keep the lead going into turn 3 from Stephen Basso, as Melvin manages to get up to P3. And now you'd say Melvin is the favourite here, because Melvin, well, he's arguably the fastest driver out of these top 5, top maybe 6 drivers, if you're going to count Fight Me Now bot as well, with his possibly the grade and mediums. But this is going to be a huge opportunity, but Oliver Knott is the favourite to win this championship. He's the favourite to win this race. But he's down and he's lingering in P11, 5 seconds off Adam and P10. And they've all got DRS on each other. It's going to be difficult for him to get back into this race with that DRS. However, one thing to know about Oliver Knott is you never count him out this early. That is why he was sought after by so many teams. Mark Daniel really just seems to be deploying in the perfect areas. However, Stephen Basso's got over 50% more battery. Is he maybe holding back at the start of this Grand Prix? Going into turn 3. So Oliver went to do something apparently. And I assume that's... so he thought he'd be out for 2 to 3 laps. Well, that has come back to bite him now. And that's probably why when Fight Me Now bot was attempting to get past him, that's probably why he was unable to get that move completed. That's why Oliver Knott was so slow in the restart. And Mark Daniels got that gap to 9 tenths. It's going to come down now to DRS. Oliver Knott has already gained about 2 seconds in this last lap. Gained about a second, sorry, this last lap. He's now 4 seconds off the pack. However, this pack has got DRS, and he's still going to have to get past these guys. And it's a very close, very tight track. But it's not impossible for him. It is obviously still possible, as we're seeing a bit of a gap form now. As AMS Knight looking to go around the outside of Max. That's TFS Ward. That's TF10 Ward, sorry. Going around the outside of AMS Knight now. And is he going to be able to make that move? Yes, he is. What a move from TF10 Wards. That is a fantastic move. Around the outside of turn 4 and turn 5. And can he push on now? And maybe get Max and Melvin, his teammates? Stephen Basso. Well, that gap is coming down, but it's also not coming down a lot. Adam gets a 3-second penalty. Again, I believe. Oliver Knox is the fastest lap of the race, he really is not willing to back down, as you funny, but also gets another 3-second penalty, sorry. And I feel like, unfortunately for Mark Daniel, I feel like this is playing to Steven Vasso's hand. Steven Vasso is simply just using DRS, he's managing his tyres, he's gone into none mode on the straight, and he's saving his battery. Whereas Mark Daniel, he's on 30%. Steven Vasso knows he doesn't have to particularly overtake him quickly. I mean, he's got a 3-second penalty, and Steven Vasso has shown incredible pace in this Grand Prix so far. So, it's not unlikely that even if Oliver Knott is able to come back into this race, that Steven Vasso can't win this race, because he's still able to. And this is where Mark Daniel has been strong this week, in this final section. Down the straight, Steven Vasso slightly closer despite managing his ERS, and he's probably managing tyres as well. Melvin's tyres are 2 laps older than the front two. As Steven Vasso gets a good exit out here, is he able to get past? No, you funny about gets another 3-second time penalty. He's running quite nicely in P9 as well. Without that those penalties, he'd be looking at a P7, a P8 as of right now. As this is very close between the top three, as Max is just slightly falling behind, and it's kind of bringing a stop to the strain. However, look in the distance, Oliver Knott is catching this pack of drivers. He's catching the pack. Oh, he goes off there. That's definitely going to be a warning for the VNT driver. Steven Vasso just using his ERS slightly more now. He goes into none. You can see he's clearly just managing this race now. Is he gonna overtake him? He might in fact get him. He's gonna go for the move down the inside. He's also gonna get DRS going into turn 3. Melvin might also be involved in this fight here. He might be able to get Mark Daniel. Steven Vasso will get that place. His mark is Melvin on Mark Daniel. These two, very competitive drivers as Melvin slides, and he just about keeps it on track. Is he going to be able to get ahead of Mark Daniel? Oh, it's very close. It's very, very close, but Melvin manages to get ahead. That's a fantastic overtake from Melvin. Now he needs to push on. He knows he needs to pit earlier because he cannot take those hard tyres to the end of this Grand Prix. Steven Vasso looking to maybe win his first race from last, or P12 on the grid. We heard earlier that he was going for a last to first, but as it stands right now, he'll have the championship lead, and he'd also get his first win. As Oliver Knott gets past Euphonybot. And is he going to be able to get past Adam now? That's the question. But that gap, Fight Me Now bot to AMS9, that's about 3.5 seconds. That's not good. As these two are fighting, Esko Kalevi goes down the inside of Fight Me Now bot, but Fight Me Now bot is going to fight him back now. And he's taking his name literally and figuratively. As Melvin looking to get past Oliver Knott, trying to go around the outside of Adam, the McLaren driver. Is he going to be able to get it? He will. Brakes later than his McLaren rival, and he manages to get that move done. However, while that is all happening, so that gap from Fight Me Now bot to that lead pack is getting bigger. And what is also getting bigger, of course, is the gap from Melvin to Steven Vasso. The gap from Mark Daniel to Melvin is definitely increasing, despite the fact that Melvin has got two laps over time. But there's still one more pit stop for all of these drivers, surely, in this race. I doubt anyone is going to be able to get a one-stop going. As TF10 Boys gets past Max, but Max is going to fight this back with DRS. Wars has got slightly more ERS to his advantage. Oh, he goes round the outside. Look at the difference in late braking. As always, a little bit scruffy, but Ward manages to get the move done. That's an impressive move. He really looked confident after this restart. He was only lingering down in P8 or P7 before that safety car. Well, now that safety car's happened as Oliver Knott gets past Esko Kalevi, the debutant. And now he sets his sight on Fight Me Now bot. Well, this is going to be a really important move. He needs to get this move done quickly. And he needs to ensure that he doesn't get held up. Esko Kalevi gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. This track is very, very, very difficult in keeping inside the lines. As here comes Oliver Knott, he's definitely going to be wanting to make this move here. And he's going to be wanting to make it now as he needs to get closer. He's going to go down the inside of Fight Me Now bot. And Oliver Knott last season, who spent a lot of the time in the lead, well, he's had to make a lot of overtaking now. Fight Me Now bot's tyres are surely going to start dying. Like I said, the cut-off period is around 7 to 8 laps. But Steven Vasso still leads this race on lap 21 out of 36. We have now completed over half race distance so far in this 50% race here in Apex Racing. Who's going to be able to start the season out in the perfect fashion? As Melvin, now is the time when you'd be looking to pit. This is the moment when you'd be looking for a pit window, and everyone will be looking for a pit window, as we've got a Sauber double stack, as well as Max. So Max goes for the undercut again, which is important because they're now releasing Oliver Knott into more clean air. And soon with Max having been the lead driver at this stage in the race, he was allowed to make that first pit stop. They just double stack. Yes, they did just double stack, which I don't think was a very smart idea. I think AMS 9 should have gone one lap longer, but AMS 9 is able to bring that back to Max. And here we go back to the POV of Melvin. He started second in this race. Let's have a look at the position changes. Steven Vasso up 11 positions. He started P12 in this race. The entirety of quali, he just fought with the McLaren of Leon, who now has retired from this race. You Funnybot gets a 10-second time penalty, and he also retires from this session for speeding in the pit lane. And that is just another gifted position. I mean, realistically, if you stay in the race, you're scoring points. I mean, points go up to P12. And that is how we do points in this server, if you're not aware. But Oliver Knott, crucially, has also pitted. He's pitted onto a fresh set of hard tyres. Now, Melvin and Steven Vasso, both of them, are going to have to be looking at pitting. That means that TF10 Wars has to go one lap longer. And that is the advantage that Steven Vasso has. Doesn't have a teammate to worry about, and they are both into the pits. They both dive in together a little bit on the grass, don't want to speed, and neither of them do. Mark Daniel also pits, and TF10 Wars also pits, which is a very odd decision. That's the second time we've seen a team double stack, which will put Adam into the lead of this Grand Prix. Obviously he will have to pit again. It's unlikely he'll go to the end on those tyres. But where will Oliver Knott come out in this group? As Max won't come out ahead of, I think, but he's got TF10 Wars. Well, Oliver Knott, who set the fastest in the final sector. Here he's trying to get TF10 Wars, who's got non-mode and battery, and well, it looks like Oliver Knott is just trying to hold out there. Here comes Oliver Knott now, looking to get the move done. And unfortunately for anyone in the chat, I'm going to have to close the chat now because I cannot, my phone's running out of battery and I've got to keep looking at my phone. But 4 seconds back from Mark Daniel, who's the next closest car going to be very interesting for the remainder of this race. Is Oliver not going to come back, or is this going to be a surprise race winner? I mean, Oliver Knox, all the safety car, was absolutely dominating this Grand Prix. As Adam pits now, pits from P1, and Amos Knight, I gave him a bit of sticker before the race, and Melvin gets a 3-second time penalty, and I'm afraid that could be race over. That could be the hopes of a race win over for the Red Bull driver. And as a Red Bull driver myself, that's a bit of a shame. But it's not over yet. He still needs to try to protect his podium finish. And Amos Knight, who I gave stickers to before the race, well, he's put himself into a podium position, so fair play to him. He's driven incredibly today. As now, Melvin's probably going to have to try look at catching and getting past Steven Vassar, or simply just using his DRS to create that gap of 3 seconds. He has a 1.5 second gap, and in terms of the gap to the leader, well, that is around about a 2.5 second gap from Max to Melvin. So it's interesting, and he has just set the fastest lap of this race. Is he going to be able to get past him now? I seriously think his best option is going to be using the RS. Max gets past AMS Knight there. Is Knight going to be able to fight back though? This would be a great start for AMS Knight at the start of the season if he can get a podium. Right behind TF10 boards, and I think for Melvin's sake, he'll be hoping his teammate can hold him up a little bit. But it's looking unlikely, but it's never impossible for Oliver Knott. We've got into a position where not many drivers want to overtake now. They want to try manage their pace, and until they try get themselves towards the end of the line, it's really hurting from my headset. Very long time. So I'm not gaining on TF10 boards. Is he going to be able to pass him here? It looks like it. He just stopped deploying battery. I think he knows that move is inevitable. And is he going to be able to get him back? Look at the exit he gets on the mark. So there's about 3/10 between them. That's going to mean he gets P6 now. And he's going to start chasing after Mark Daniel. God knows. This is going to be an interesting part of this race. I'm going to drink some water because I'm very thirsty. Very much water. You really get that feeling. Back into the lobby. I think our lobby host is going to be on that. But that is a really big win in this race because Max is running really nicely. That is a chase game. That is a real shame for Max. does, he has P3 at the minute. But it's gonna be easy. MS9 knows he doesn't have to do much, but catch him. This race is not over for Oliver Nott. Look at how much he gains through the corners. He's almost like the Ferrari 2026. Rapid through the corners, but shite in the straights. He's got a bad and Lewis Hamilton, who got his first podium today for Ferrari. And oh, okay, well this is race on now, because Stephen Basso gets a 3-second time penalty. Bear in mind, Oliver Nott hasn't got a penalty. So despite the fact that there is around about a 7-second gap, Oliver Nott hasn't got a penalty, which is really huge. As Fight Me Now gets another 3-second time penalty. But Melvin is now going to be turned up. Pause. He's not going to be turned on. He's going to be turned up because he wants to get this win. It'd be a great start for Red Bull. Red Bull had a little bit of a difficult time. I mean, in Tier 2 today, they only got P7 and P9 provisionally, of course, with some penalties still to be removed. Maybe added as well. Tier 3, I believe they got P4 and P5 or around about that. And then in Tier 5, they got a P5 and P6. I don't know what they got in Tier 4. I don't know Tier 4 that much. Sorry, Tier 4. But this is going to be a crucial part of this race now. 7 laps remaining. As Stephen Basso crosses the line, that's going to be 6 laps remaining. This is a huge moment in this race. They're continuously extending that gap over Mark Daniel. Oliver Nott, well that's now 2nd lap in a row. He's managed to, gets a little bit of a slide there. And that is going to cost him some time. Look how much he gains, but and then Melvin takes the lead of this race. That is huge. The whole race has shifted. Is TF10 Ward's going to go for a move down the inside of Oliver Nott? They collide, they touch, and TF10 Wards is going to attempt to make a move on one of the favourites on the championship. He's going to try to stick it round the outside. He goes onto the gravel. I don't know if that's going to be looked at by the stewards. Might be looked at by me, but I mean, I didn't even know. I forgot what the stewards 2 hours ago, so who knows? Stephen Basso, who's lost the lead now, he has a 3-second time penalty. It is all fair game. It's now whoever beats each other on track wins on track. Can one of them come out on top, or will it be Oliver Nott slowly crawling back as Mark Daniel and AMS Knight go side by side? And AMS Knight doesn't have the DRS, and that means Mark Daniel is going to get past him. AMS Knight will fight it, and he can't. Not still. He's struggling to get by. He slides again. Oliver Nott is seriously struggling with those hard tyres at the minute. He has not looked comfortable at all in the last couple of laps. Had a few snaps of oversteer, and that is costing him time, and it's getting him stuck in this train. We know Oliver Nott. Looking at those tyres, they do not look good. They look very, very difficult. They look worn. We're into a position now where the top 3 drivers in this race, 3 different teams, and fun fact, well, Trosh has been a TP for every single one of those. For the top 4 teams, Trosh has been a TP of. This is the Trosh effect, ladies and gentlemen. He is also Epstein, so that's quite long. But Oliver Nott isn't going to be able to get past Avis Knight here. He can't. He's going to be behind him again, which is, I mean, obviously, he's going to get P3. He's going to get P4, sorry, as it stands. Because Mark Daniels got a 3-second time penalty. Now, maybe you could get that removed at the end of the race, you never know. But that will put AMS Knight in P3, and put Oliver Nott in P4. shape. And we're going to look at that safety car as the pivotal moment in this Grand Prix. We go on to lap 34 out of 36. It is Red Bull versus Red Bull. V-Carb versus the owner team of Red Bull Racing. Red Bull Racing versus Vita Cash App Racing Bulls. It's not sugar-free Red Bull. It's Red Bull versus Red Bull. As it all goes deep, and he hits Melvin, and I feel like Melvin's gonna try report that later in the race. Is he gonna go down the inside? He's not, but that was a little naughty from Steven Vasso, and that could be reported should Melvin not win this race. And fair play to AMS Knight. He started, let's see where he started. He started P7. He's brought himself up to P4. And he's also been able to fight for this victory. So fair play to AMS Knight. Fair play. And he's on for a podium. And he's holding back Oliver Knott. And Oliver Knott gets a 3-second time penalty. This race is folding under his hands. A 3-second time penalty for the favourite for the championship. That would put him behind TF10 Wards, and Wards would get a very lovely P5 at the moment. Maybe little bit struggling. Lap 35 out of 36. We have a lap and a half remaining, ladies and gentlemen. This race is going down to the wire. We will stay on this battle between we will now stay on this battle between the two Red Bull family cars. Steven Vasso has more battery. They're level on battery now. They are oh no, Melvin has crashed, and that's Steven Vasso in the gravel, and that might gift AMS Knight a win. AMS Knight is on for a race victory here in Austria. I don't think Mark Daniel is going to be able to hold on. Mark Daniel, with his end plate damage, he's got a serious amount of that front wing damage actually. And he's struggling. He's really struggling. And this is a huge moment in this race. This is giving AMS Knight, who started P7 on the grid, a chance to win a Formula 1 Grand Prix here in Apex and to open the season out in spectacular fashion. This has been an incredible race so far. Steven Vasso, who has got damage on that RB, it's only end plate damage, albeit. But Melvin needs 5/10. He needs 5/10, but he's also requiring Mark Daniel to hold out. I don't think Mark Daniel is going to be able to hold out. Melvin, though, that spin, he was inches away from a race victory. And you're going to look at that race victory, Melvin, and at the end of the season, that could cost you. However, as he comes across the line, Melvin will on track take victory in the Austrian Grand Prix, but it's going to be Amos Knight's day. He wins the Austrian Grand Prix, and it's the perfect start to a season for Sauber. Melvin finishes P2. He'll be thinking he could have won that race. TF10 Wards finishes P3 ahead of Mark Daniel. Well done, TF10 Wards. That is an incredible race podium for you. Congratulations to Red Bull. Your winner is AMS Knight. He wins the season opener here in Tier 1. And is he going to be able to mount a championship challenge now? That consistency in that race he got him that victory. And that's what he needs to continue to do for the rest of the race. What an incredible race. I'm out of breath. I am out of breath. And the Sauber driver celebrates. It's a double Red Bull podium. They will most definitely be happy with that. However, considering the situation, I mean, you're looking at a Red Bull 1-3. They're now ended up with a 2-3. That's 30 points collected for Amos Knight. And Amos Knight with a huge win. And I'll have to check to see when his last victory was. I don't even know when his last victory was. However, the Polishman takes victory in the Red Bull ring. It's a double podium for the home heroes for the Austrian team. And that is a huge race victory. for AMS Night, as I need to get the race director and results. But an unbelievable race that was. I feel like race directors can be more important. However, I cannot. I'm on a black screen right now. Am I even going to be able to get the race director? I am not. So apologies to anyone who needed it, but it wouldn't let me. It just simply wouldn't let me get onto the actual page for it. Hopefully that'll be sorted later in the race. I will try get a recording. But that was an incredible race for the season opener in Tier 1. It was AMS Knight who took the victory. He started P7 on the grid. Oliver Knott took pole, but with difficulties in understanding when the race was about to start, he picked up only a P4, I believe it was. It's going to be an intense championship battle. Thank you for joining us here today, and we'll see you in Melbourne in Albert Park. That's all from us. Have a nice night, everybody. Have a nice night. As I need to close this story. Bye.